Hi everybody, it's Juice with Junius. Here's product placement. So, I wanted to talk about my experience with anxiety. I developed anxiety for the first time in May of 2021, 3 months before my mom died. It was the night that I took the second COVID shot. And I don't know if I had never taken the second COVID shot, if I would have never had gotten anxiety. I was hot and cold. I was shivering. I couldn't breathe. And the not being able to breathe was what stuck with me. I used to have 8-hour-long anxiety attacks. They would usually hit me in the late afternoon and last all night long. And they come out of nowhere. They're not triggered by anything. I will start to feel them coming. I can feel them coming. I know that they're going to come. And once I start to think they're going to come, they're coming, no matter what I do. Sometimes I almost think myself into them. But there's really no external factors that cause me to have an anxiety attack. I will start to think a lot. I will think, and I will stutter in my head. I'll stutter words, I'll stutter letters. And I constantly think of the word I as in me. But then it goes to the word I as in I, and I'll think, maybe I should take a knife and puncture my eye. I've thrown out all the sharp knives in my house. I don't have any sharp things in my house. I don't have anything to hurt myself with in my house. Because of that impulse, that feeling that I'm gonna poke my eye out with a fork or with a knife. I used to have some really, really sharp knives in my apartment, but I threw them all away. Oh, that's nice and cold. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. I can't get comfortable. I will look up. I will literally go like this. I'll look at the ceiling. And I feel like I look crazy when I do that. I don't know anybody else who looks up at the ceiling when they're having an anxiety attack. When I did that when I was around my sister, she said, "You look crazy." And ever since she said that, that's really stuck with me. I wish she'd never said that. I can't be around people. I need to be by myself. The idea of being with somebody else and having an anxiety attack is really scary. I'll always think about moving. That's my biggest fear, is moving out of this apartment. I'm very comfortable here. I've been here for 3 years, and the only reason I would move is to move to Kentucky to be with my boyfriend. That would be the only reason I'd move. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but otherwise, I'm not moving. Moving is very stressful for me. 3 years ago when I moved here, my sister and her husband, Thoth, were here and in Nashville, and I moved and I took them to the airport, and I had a panic attack. I had an anxiety attack for about 8 hours. And it was terrible. And I called my friend Jim, and thankfully he picked up, and he tried to calm me down, but it didn't really work. I will often call 988, which is the suicide hotline. I don't get suicidal anymore, but it's a good line to call if you need somebody to talk to who will just sit there and listen to you. Here, let me turn on this light. That's a little better. I can't get comfortable. I'll lie on my back and stare at the blinds behind me, behind my bed. I'll stare at the ceiling. If I'm on my side, I feel like my arm here is impeding my lungs, and I feel like I can't breathe. And if I lie on my back, it almost feels like the air is too thick. I feel like there's like a heavy blanket over my face. I feel like my throat is constricting. I'll go, oh wow, I only have one tube that is connected to my lungs, and if that closes, I'm fucked. So that's what an anxiety attack is like for me. In the last 7 months, I've had 3 anxiety attacks. I used to have way more than that. I've been suffering with them for about 4 years now. And I take hydroxyzine. Hydroxyzine is my emergency anxiety med. I do take 2 others that are for anxiety. I can't quite remember what they are, but I'll let you know. That just helps regulate my anxiety on a daily basis. But I do have hydroxyzine, which is a controlled substance. I can't get a lot of them. I can only get 15 a month. But thankfully, since I haven't been using them, I've just been getting refills, and they've been piling up. So I have about 30 now, which is great. But I need them because just having them calms me down. Just having this hydroxyzine makes me feel better. It makes me feel like I'm not going to have an anxiety attack. If I didn't have them, I might be having anxiety attacks all the time. I used to have anxiety attacks like 4 in a row, one night after the other. And I had no one to call. I couldn't call my father because he just can't deal with it, and my sister can't deal with it either. She'll feel like she's gonna have an anxiety attack if I call her in the middle of one. I used to call my aunt, and she'd always say, this is way over my pay grade. One time, I think the day that my mom died, I was at my aunt's house, and I had an anxiety attack, and I was screaming and flailing around like a maniac. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And my aunt was like, I don't know what to do. And she called my father. My father took me to the hospital. I lay on a table for like an hour, and they did nothing for me. They didn't even come to see me. And I kind of wish that I had been flailing around and like going crazy so they would have sedated me. Because that's what I needed. I needed to be sedated. Because that was the only way that was going to stop my anxiety. And my dad got upset and stormed out and said, don't ever call me. If you have an anxiety attack, if you get depressed, don't ever call me again with any of your mental health problems. And that really sucked. So I literally had no one to call when I was having anxiety. Now I have my boyfriend, and I can text him when I'm having an anxiety attack. I will text him code red, and he'll know that I'm having an anxiety attack. I have other friends that I can call. I have my friend Lenny. I have my friend Garrett. So I think having a support network of people that you can call, text, calling 988 is really good. Distracting yourself, like instead of lying in bed trying to get up and do something, maybe even lie in bed and listen to a podcast, listen to some music. Even just being on the phone with somebody and not talking Because I feel like I can't talk when I'm having an anxiety attack. So sometimes I'll get on the phone and I'll just say, I don't want to talk. I just want us to sit here. And, or I'll just say, can you just talk and distract me? Or maybe I'll do the dishes, or um, I'll watch a video. I'll watch a stupid comedy video. I'll watch Eddie Izzard. Um, uh, so having a support network, if you can, calling 988 and distracting yourself, and having an emergency anxiety med like hydroxyzine. If you don't have health insurance, I don't have health insurance. You can look up free clinics or pay what you can clinics or sliding scale clinics in your city. And there's always clinics available for people without health insurance, and they do a sliding scale fee. And you can get medicine that way. One of my good friends told me that he couldn't get sleeping medicine through a doctor, which I couldn't believe. But anyway, those are my suggestions. If you, I'm probably going to make a couple of like soothing relaxation videos, like reassuring videos of someone who is in the middle of having an anxiety attack. But I just wanted to share my experience with anxiety, and I hope this is helpful, and I love you guys.